Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Week 9 of the Midwest F1 League Division 2. I'm Hotspot, and unfortunately, I don't have Blinn alongside me tonight, but despite that, here we are at the Baku City Circuit here in Azerbaijan. 20 corners make up this 6-kilometer circuit with 12 to the left and 8 to the right. 2 DRS zones here, but the main challenge is the drivers keeping their nose clean through the castle section of 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then pretty much the rest of the circuit as well. I mean, the Sector 2 in particular is just really difficult. Very little to no overtaking opportunities through there. So just a rather quiet day from the Pork Chops Action News Network, as the only thing worth noting tonight is Heavy S actually has a qualifying ban for Stewart decision last week. I'm pretty sure it was like a retirement on track type thing. And also a later addition to the news deck, as I've only received this probably about 10 minutes ago. OG Northerner will be filling in for Feeman tonight in the Red Bull seat, so not a lot of action there. But I mean, this circuit, this Baku City circuit, is really difficult on a couple levels, and it's also raining. I can't say I've ever seen this track in the rain before, if I'm completely honest. As we're going to go ahead and just turn everything on. But I mean, so there's a lot of, there's a lot of challenges that comes with this circuit. Specifically right now in the rain, I mean, I'm assuming drivers are still going to be putting on the wet setups, or not the wet setups, the dry setups for their car, especially as the race is probably going to be in the dry, hopefully. So, I mean, that's going to be really interesting to see, because a lot of these, dry setups aren't really made for wet conditions like this, though I'm sure the drivers have somewhat of a plan for when situations like this happen. I mean, we saw it at Australia in the first race, where it was a wet qualifying session, and then it went into the race, as OG Northerner appears to be the first one out on track. But so the biggest challenge for me personally when I look at this circuit, as I see OG's actually got the inters fitted, so not full wets for the drivers yet. But certainly a wet racetrack as is. So maybe we might actually be seeing some of the drivers maybe transition onto a dry tire towards the end of the session, seeing as how the track isn't completely wet, though I'm not sure about the weather. But anyways, back to what I was saying earlier. This is a very interesting circuit, because not only do you want to have speed carry through Sector 3, in particular 16, to the turn 16 all the way back to the start-finish line, which is a relatively straight section, despite a couple twists and turns to slow it down, and then the DRS section back into turn 1. So you want to have speed there, but you also want to have speed going through pretty much the rest of the circuit before Sector 2. I mean, you got turns 1 through 4, which is relatively like corner, 90-degree corner, then straight line, then 90-degree corner again. And so pretty much it's going to be one of those things where it's like, where does the setup come into play? Do you want to have it more downforce to make it through the castle section efficiently, or do you have less downforce and essentially have really great speed through the straights and then just, try to survive the castle section? It's going to be interesting to see. I think this is one of the races that are going to be determined by a driver's setup, which we don't often see a lot. I know we see it more over in F2 where I race, where it's pretty much whoever has the best setup's going to win. It's not necessarily based on, a lot of things. Like in F1 we have the overtake button, but that's not a factor whatsoever in F2. So it's really just about who's got the setup and, what pace you carry on. But here we are. We're going to ride along with OG Northerner real quick now. Turn 1, not that difficult. You want to take up the outside curb on the exit of 1, and now here we are into 2. So this is a pretty tight corner. Actually, it goes right into a DRS session. So you really want to hit that corner correctly, or else you could be facing problems. Now, this is personally, I think, one of the harder couple corners on the circuit, 3 and into 4. That is specifically, I believe, where the Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen incident happened, as well as Lord Mahavir Raghunathan had his difficulty in making a 3-point turn. But as we can see there, OG Northern actually handled that really well through turn 4. And turn 4 is one of those things where it's like you want to take up the curb on the right-hand side of the track on the inside, but if you don't hit it correctly, there's not a lot of room there to the wall to where you can make you can recover. As we watch OG Northerner here head through turn 7, he's done nicely. Over here to turn 8 and 9 through the castle section, handles it very nicely. Because we're just going to keep riding along with him. There he is at the exit of, I believe that was 12. Hasn't had his lap time deleted, though, despite going out really wide in that corner. as here he goes. He's now heading down into, I believe this is turn 15. Now this is a hard one as well because you want to hit the left side of the curb and get as much of the curb as you possibly can, and keep a respectable distance between you and the wall on the exit of 15 whilst keeping your speed. And OG Northern has actually had a really solid lap so far. Despite a couple of little mishaps, he's actually had a really, really solid showing. And this is also another difficult section here through those little twists through the straight, turns 18 and 19. Just very, very difficult parts of the track where, you know, if you're not carrying your speed correctly through there, you're not having the correct line, you will hit a wall. As OG Northern, the first one out on track, sets the fastest lap so far. Actually, I lied. That was Saffron City, and he's put a second back on OG Northerner. So what a lap there from Saffron City. But let's actually go through our constructors' standings right now while we have the moment. We got Williams jumping 2 positions from 3rd to 1st after last week's showing, after Sadistic King taking the win, as we get a car really slow here on the track. I'm not rightly sure who that is. I believe it could be K-Dog K. Yep, she's a little bit slow at the moment, though I'm not really sure. But anyways, yeah, we got Adaltonian, who was taken provisional pole in the Alfa Romeo. What a result that would be for Alfa Romeo if they were able to capture pole position. I mean, what a drive that would be for them. But as we look at the constructor standings, we've got Williams in first with 230. Ferrari still hanging there in second after a great showing last week in China. They currently sit at 220. McLaren drops back to third, only 2 points behind Ferrari at 218. Then it starts to get a little bit more spread out, as we got Red Bull Racing sits there in fourth with 179. AlphaTauri there in fifth, only 2 points back with 177. Renault, who's actually jumped up into sixth, overtaking Haas in the standings by 7 points. They're sitting at 148 to Haas's 141. Racing Point, Mercedes, and Alfa Romeo all stay the same, 8, 9, and 10 at 112, 106, and then 94, respectively, as somebody has just smacked the wall there in front of Adaltonian going through the castle section and has completely missed a front wing. I believe that is the Racing Points of K-Dog K. Or something. I saw a front wing fly off there, and I believe it actually could be Space Cowboy. Yeah, it is Space Cowboy. Just from the camera angle, it looked like the Racing Point, but Space Cowboy in the Haas. Goodness me, he's lost the entirety of that front wing as he smacks the wall again, and now is retired from the session. So an interesting turn of events there, and that is certainly not the qualifying result that the Haas team needs. Wow. Goodness me, that is interesting to say the least, as OG Northerner has jumped back on top of the leaderboards, putting 0.3 of a second back on his teammate JC Blackley. Now this is going to be a weekend that Red Bull really needs here. I mean, they've gotten a couple good results. I mean, JC has done a lot of great things for that team. They need some solid back-to-back good results. You see Smith Pell here in the McLaren, who he's had some pretty good weeks recently. I think Smith Pell, honestly, we were questioning, me and Blinn, we were questioning how he was going to fit into this McLaren team, and he's actually done really well so far. Been a really solid addition to this team. So yeah, good stuff from him, as OG Northerner still sits atop of the leaderboards as Smith Pell comes into the pits. But here's Cake Thomas. It's right along with him for a little bit. So yeah, I mean, what did you think of that intro at the beginning of this? I mean, I really enjoyed it, actually. The intro that I put together. Thank you very much for the applause. Yeah, no, I mean, it's about time we had an intro to these pre-recorded broadcasts. I just never thought to put one together. I know that the one that I've just put in isn't permanent. It's only to the end of the season. though once we get into next season, we are going to have a proper intro that we will be able to use. So, yeah. As currently right now, Sadistic King has jumped on top of the leaderboards once again, currently sitting first. He's put 0.3 of a second back on the Red Bull of OG Northerner, as I believe OG, nope, still in the pits. Is that JC that's coming out on his outlap? It is. What else we got? So the Red Bulls have a solid qualifying result going right now. We got Adeltonian in the Alfa Romeo in 4th. What a result that would be for the Alfa Romeo team. They need some good results here. They currently sit 10th in the constructors standings. I mean, they've shown a lot of pace in these qualifying sessions, but then somehow just completely run out of luck in the race. And I feel like if they have this team has potential to get onto the podium. Now let me just say that they've just had absolutely dog water of luck recently, which has been unfortunate to see, because I remember at France in particular we had both Alfa Romeos, I believe, in the top 5, and it was looking to be a really good race, and then somehow both of them ended up getting turned around on the start. So hopefully here we'll see a good result for the Alfa Romeo team. As let's go along with Domingos now in the McLaren, sitting pretty far back of first place, about 3.5 seconds. But right now the McLaren team's sitting 8th and 9th, though Domingos is on a he is on a timed lap, and I believe Saffron City, the Williams, has just set the fastest lap of the race, though it doesn't show it just yet. Either that or Sadistic King has just set a faster one. Well, the notification at the bottom of the screen says Saffron City has the fastest lap, but I'm not sure if that's true. So anyways, yeah, just riding along with the McLaren team. I mean, this team has been they've been a really solid team all season. They haven't necessarily been at the top of the on the top step of the podium. I mean, we had Scavney going back to back, and then I think winning the race. I think pretty much McLaren won 3 out of the first 4 races or thereabouts, somewhere along those lines. I mean, McLaren was really dominant at the beginning of the season. Then we saw Scavney move up to Div 1. And you know, they had the tough race at Austria, where just so many things collapsed, and that was a tough week for McLaren. But I tell you what, they're keeping it competitive at the top of the standings right now. Currently sitting 3rd, but there's no reason to believe that they can't overtake Ferrari and maybe even Williams this week, considering if they have a good enough drive, both of them. They're both going to need solid drives here, because I know the partnership of Sadistic King and Saffron City in the Williams garage, they've been doing very, very well this season so far. And here we are with Monkey Mafia in the Ferrari. Now, Ferrari has had themselves a great turn of events in these past couple weeks. Despite losing Jinnit to win it to Div 1, this team has actually stayed really competitive. I mean, we had Monkey Mafia doing really well last week in China. I believe, he's actually missing a bit of his front wing there. Didn't even catch on to that at first as he goes through turn 15. Yeah, he is missing quite a bit of that front wing. But yeah, Monkey Mafia has been a really solid addition to the Ferrari garage, as Spool and Dub is now at the top of the 2nd place currently. As Spool and Dub's been a good addition to the Ferrari garage as well. As we saw, the Razor guy was starting to win races consistently, and then unfortunately he had to drop out of the league like completely. But this Ferrari team's in good hands, I think. I think honestly these two drivers have a lot of talent, and I'm sure we'll be getting even more good results from this Ferrari team very shortly, as we are entering the last 5 minutes of the session. Let's ride along with Saffron City here on his outlap now. We're currently sitting in 6th position, as Smith Pell in the McLaren just goes up to 2nd. I mean, what a drive from him so far, finding himself in 2nd place behind Sadistic King, and actually not too far behind either. Granted, to be 0.2 of a second, but still, I mean, when you're looking at positions 2nd through even 6th right now, it's been very, very closely contested. Then it started drops off back to Saffron City, currently sitting a 2nd back of pole position. But here he goes now. Let's see what he's got to offer as we start to edge near the final minutes of this qualifying session. And here he goes down into turn 1. He's got a car in front of him, which I believe is I believe that is Tear the Tear, possibly? Not sure. It is an Alfa Romeo. That is Tear the Tear. Haha, I was right. It was a total guess as well. As here he goes out of turn 2. He's handled that very, very well through the DRS zone, though we're not having DRS here at the moment because of the rain. Just making sure. As he heads into turn 3, he's actually handling this super well right now. Let's see how he handles this corner, turn 4, probably one of the harder corners on the circuit. He's handled it very well. Didn't use much of the curb on the inside of the track, which is actually kind of surprising to me. I'm not sure if he's been meaning to handle it like that, and he does not have a good turn 5 right there, and into 6. That one was actually a little bit sloppy, just a little bit too wide on the exit of turn 5, and I think that's hurt his time quite a lot, but let's stick around with him anyways as he goes through the castle section. As you know, this being one of the very difficult parts of this circuit, one of the more difficult sectors in all of Formula 1 at all. This is certainly up there. Just pretty much for turns 8 through 12, I mean, if you don't nail those corners, it not only hurts your lap time, but it can hurt your car as well. And we've seen a couple incidents already. At Space Cowboy being the most notable, holding up a couple people on their, I believe, time lapse as well from him smacking one of the barriers, I believe going through 9, as he was completely missing his front wing. But here's Saffron City still. Tear the Tear still in front of him, also putting on a timed lap. Oh, Saffron got really loose coming out of that corner. I'm not rightly sure what just happened, as he was going really, really strangely out of, I believe that was turn 19, 18 or 19, just really going wide, as Saffron City just sets the fastest lap and puts Sadistic King, his teammate, behind by over a half a second. Going into the final 2 minutes, as we see Cake Thomas in the AlphaTauri has just jumped up into the top 3 as he goes through the castle section now. I mean, this has been a good qualifying session, kind of pretty clean so far, despite having the one incident. I think that we're actually getting some really solid laps here, though it looks like these top 6 drivers are really, I don't want to say in a league of their own, but well ahead of the rest of the pack, as I believe Cake Thomas is going to have his time lap deleted here, as I believe he exceeded track limits. So unfortunate for him, because I'm not sure if he's going to get another time lap, though he does have time, so we're going to see if he takes it. As we see JC in the Red Bull, he's on his out lap. Oh, have we got a OG Northerner is just retired? Oh, goodness me. Something has happened there with OG Northerner in the Red Bull. I didn't catch on to it fast enough, but he is completely missing a front wheel. And I believe Best Pawns is in a wall somewhere as well. Yep, the Renault of Best Pawns has gone off as well, and we had a Mercedes off as well somewhere. Whew. Lots of drama there within the last couple seconds of the qualifying session here, but Sadistic King has now put a second behind his teammate Saffron City. So what a showing so far by the two Williams. I mean, just pretty much holding on to the top 2 spots this whole section, and I believe Best Pawns is just going to go ahead and call it quits right here. Currently find himself in 13th. Oh, is he pulling a Lord Rahavir? He might be. And is he? No? I can't tell what's going on. Saffron City still says he set the fastest lap. I know that's not true, but yeah, Best Pawns are completely missing his front wing. Detail in the Mercedes, I mean, he has not had the qualifying session I would have hoped for, especially because, I mean, Mercedes has been having a lot of luck in these qualifying sessions currently. They've been doing really, really well, and I think just it's very unfortunate for him, as Sadistic King currently has the fastest time, but still a couple cars out on track, as we got JC Blackley going through Sector 1 at the moment. I believe he's going to get another attempt at a lap time here. Let's ride along with him as he goes through turn number 3 and now into 4. The Red Bulls currently find themselves 7th and 9th. OG Northerner taking 7th at the moment, though a couple cars still out on track. Let's see what JC can muster up here, as Super Ninas, I completely missed it, Super Ninas has found himself up into 3rd. That is quite the qualifying result for the Renault team. That is exactly what they needed, and despite being a little bit off of 1st place, almost 2 seconds, that is a really solid result. I believe JC's just actually made contact on the exit of turn 7 and lost a bit of his wing. I can't tell from the angle at the moment. but I don't think that car is exactly in one piece anymore, and it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble with it. I actually can't tell if he's hit anything, but Saffron City's just retired from the session. Sadistic King currently on provisional pole, but here comes JC Blackley through turn 16. Do I have that right? No, out of turn 15 now into 16. Oh, no, I lied again. That was I was right. The track map on the computer and the track map on the screen are in two different orientations, so it's a little tricky to tell which one is which. But Cake Thomas has just launched himself up into third. Domingo's in the McLaren in fourth. Here's JC Blackley to the line. Let's see what he can put together on this lap. It's been a solid one. He puts together a lap that gives him fifth place. So a solid lap for the Red Bull of JC Blackley, but Sadistic King will probably be getting this pole position here unless Sui... Nope. Okay, interesting. Sui was at the bottom of the table for a minute, and he's now found himself up into second, splitting the two Williams. So great drive from Sui. So Sadistic King... So it's actually interesting here. We've got the first two rows having both a Williams and an AlphaTauri. Interesting stuff there as Domingo's here in the McLaren, having a solid qualifying run for him. Currently find himself fifth. JC Blackley in sixth. In the Red Bull, seventh is Super Ninas, and Super Ninas was holding on to a couple of the top spots there for a little bit and then just got knocked off the pedestal towards the end of the session. Smith Pell, the McLaren, finding himself eighth. Ninth is Spool and Dump. Spool and Dump. Did I just say Spool and Dump? I'm so sorry. Oh, God, I'm going to get all the flack in the world for that one. But yeah, what a good qualifying session there, as both the Williams and AlphaTauri teams finding themselves some success in this qualifying session. As we run through it, Sadistic King taking the top spot, Sui in second, Saffron City third, Cake Thomas in fourth, Domingo's fifth, JC Blackley sixth, Super Ninas in seventh, eighth is Smith Pell, ninth is Spool and Dub, 10th is OG Northerner, 11th Adeltonian, 12th is Tear the Tear, 13th K-Dog, 14th Detail, 15th Vespons, 16th Monkey Mafia, 17th C. Freeman, 18th Kaz, 19th Space Cowboy, and then 20th is Heavy S after having the qualifying ban. So here we are, and all the drivers have agreed to not hit the X button, and I will be finding out right here who gets the penalty if any of them decide to hit the X button. Oh, who's it going to be? Oh, it's going to be someone as well. I know it will. It happens every week. Somebody presses the X button. We're going to find out who it is. And surely they'll be getting the flack in the Discord after, but for right now, it's staying good. Oh, who's it going to be? I don't know. They're all doing so good so far. We've never had this much participation in not pressing the X button at the start. So great stuff here. So yeah, now a bright and sunny day here at the Baku City Street Circuit. So this is going to be surely an interesting race to watch here. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but I mean, we've had a really good string of races so far. We had Mexico, then China, and then now onto Baku. I think we're in for another really solid race today. I hope so, at least. I think hopefully the field will be calmed down enough by the time we reach the castle section to not cause a safety car. But here's hoping. I'm not going to commentary curse that one. So let's actually run through the driver standings. I haven't done this yet. Sadistic King finds himself in first with 151. JC Blackley in second, 139th. Super Ninas back in fifth is the furthest up active driver in the Renault. He's got 90 points currently. Then back to Saffron City in the Williams. He's got back in seventh. He's got 79. Behind him, Cake Thomas actually only down by 4 points in the AlphaTauri. Then Domingo's back in 10th, Sui in 11th, Smith Pell 12th, 13th is Vespons. I almost dropped my controller. 14th is C. Freeman. He's actually tied with K-Dog. 16th is Tear the Tear, 17th Monkey Mafia, 18th Adeltonian. He's tied with Heavy S, actually. 20th is Spool and Dub. Detail and Kaz are tied for 21st. Space Cowboy back in 24th. And from there on out, it's pretty much just drivers that haven't raced in forever in this division. As I believe Kaz has hit the button, and K-Dog and Sadistic King. As it would appear the Div 3 lobby is having a little bit of trouble. But OG Northerner, Kaz, and K-Dog were the earliest to hit the button to start. So I'm not sure if that's worth the steward report or not, as they were sat there for quite a little bit. I'm assuming they pressed it once the 30-second countdown timer started, or at least during that. I'd hope so, at least. Here we are. We are going to be starting the formation lap now. As let's go ahead and make sure everything is turned on. So Sadistic King, it still says Saffron City has the fastest lap. I know that's not true. Swee back in second. Swee's actually looking to have a solid weekend here, hopefully. He's got a lot of potential, this man, and hopefully it'll pay off today. He's had a little bit of bad luck last week, but I tell you what, this could be his week to get on that podium. Saffron City sitting in third, the second Williams team driver. He's had himself solid season so far. Not really that... I don't want to say he's been overshadowed by his teammate Sadistic King, because these two cars have both been really, really competitive. It's just Sadistic King has the wins to show, but Saffron City has been right up there as well. Cake Thomas back there in fourth, one of the drivers who made the switch from D3 up to Div 2, and surely another up-and-coming talent that will find himself up in Div 1 soon. But the one-stop strategy, a lot of drivers, so I mean, you get all three sets. You get the soft, medium, and hard. It looks like if you start out on the hards, you don't have to make a stop really towards the end of the race, but a lot of these drivers starting on the soft tires, so I'm assuming some of them are going to be going to the hards in order to keep that one-stop strategy. In fact, let's look at the tires now. Only a couple drivers starting out on the hard tires. We got Saffron City sitting in third on the hards, Super Ninas in the seventh, Super Ninas sitting seventh, K-Dog back in 13th, It's Heavy Ass, and then Space Cowboy all on the hard compound to start this race. So it's going to be interesting to see how the tire strategies play out here. As we saw, that was a big factor last week in China for that race. That was really huge. There specifically, Sadistic King had a very interesting tire strategy. I believe he went 20-something laps on the hards, which sounds manageable, but I mean, that track eats away at tires. But what a drive he had, taking the win as well. Let's see if he can repeat today. So who else am I going to be looking for in this race? I mean, Domingo's in the McLaren. He's had himself a really solid qualifying position. Well, one of the better of his season as of late. So, I mean, yeah, he could have himself, he could be in for a really solid weekend here. JC Blackley up in the Red Bull, usually one of the top few in this division as well. No surprise there. But I tell you what, he could have a solid week as well. Who else am I looking at? OG Northerner back in 10th in the Red Bull. Pretty solid drive from him. I remember back when he was driving for Alfa Romeo, he was having a hard time getting off the bottom of the table, but he has done really well. So predicted tire strategy, looking to pit at lap 18 on the softs, and then I think a couple laps before, if you start on the hards and you go to the medium. So a couple different strategies here. None of these are really right. I don't know. I've never seen tire strategies like these before. It's so strange. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go here at the Baku City Street Circuit. A couple drivers going out wide already into turn 1. Sadistic Kings had the best start of them all back there. Oh, we got 3 wide going on back here. That's somebody, I believe that's an Alfa Romeo that's just hit the wall in front of Heavy S. It says Heavy S is up there already, but here we go. Down the straight they go. We got a caution back there over in the first corner. Someone's gone off there. I believe it could have been a Renault. Not entirely sure, but as the field makes their way down through the DRS section into turn 3. Who do we have leading the race so far? It's still Sadistic King. Back in second is Sui. I know it says fourth, but that's incorrect. Don't mind that. Sadistic King finding himself in first. Had a great start. Sui there in second, not too far behind. I believe this is Cake Thomas back there in third. So Saffron City's actually fallen a little bit down the order now. Back into fifth. JC's found himself up into fourth. A little bit of space behind him to currently third, Cake Thomas. But here's Cake Thomas, the other Alpha Tauri, just kind of sitting and watching this battle for the lead here. Sadistic King currently has the lead, but there's Sui putting on a lot of pressure as they head through the Sector 2 out of turn 14. And now here they go into 15. Who's going to have the better corner here? And it looks like it's going to be Sweet. Sadistic King got pretty wide there. I'm not sure. He actually could have made contact with the wall, but a very close battle for the lead here in the early going as we have Detail overtaking Adaltonian as Best Pawns apparently has picked up a penalty for a severe collision with Adaltonian. What has happened here? Let's see how much front wing is Best Pawns missing, and it looks to be quite a lot, and yes, it is. And Adaltonian, let's check on him as well. We got a virtual safety car, so I'm not going to say this is one of the tamer starts we've had to the Div 2 races, but this has certainly been one of the tamer starts for sure. So Best Pawns currently find himself having the penalty after that start. We've got, who else? We got solid start for OG Northerner in the Red Bull, finding himself up into 6th. Pretty solid start there, or, well, maybe 9th? I don't know. This order keeps messing up on me. I'm assuming Sadistic King is still in the lead. That is true. He's got Sweet behind him, so still could be a potential battle for the lead here. I think behind Sweet we've got JC, currently sitting 3rd, though the order is kind of messed up on my screen still. Back to business here. Here's Adaltonian in the pits, replacing a front wing that's still there on my screen. He's put on the hards again after starting on the soft compound. Or, no, he's put on the soft after starting on the soft compound. And I have actually no clue what's going on with my order here. I think it's now starting to finally sort itself out. Here we have Sadistic King in the Williams leading the pack through the castle section. He's done very well to keep Sweet behind him, but Sweet has had a solid run going these past couple laps. He's making it competitive. Behind him, his teammate, Cake Thomas. And then behind Cake Thomas, JC Blackley in the Red Bull. He's had himself a solid start. Saffron City, I'm not really sure what's happened to him. He's dropped from, I believe it was 3rd, all the way back to 5th now, so he's certainly lost spots at the beginning of that start. OG Northerner had a good start, up into 6th now from starting 10th. Who's had the best start so far has got to be Space Cowboy in the Haas, currently sitting at 15th after starting in 20th, apparently. But a good start there for those drivers, and well, Sadistic King has pulled out to the early lead so far, but we are going to be getting DRS this time by, as I'm pretty sure JC, it says, has set the fastest lap time, as he's finding himself just a little bit behind this 3-car battle for the lead here. But here comes Sadistic King. Sweet also with the DRS, so the 2 AlphaTauris have the DRS on the Williams of Sadistic King as they head into turn 3. This is going to be a close one as they head into the corner. Nothing to report yet, but Sweet keeping it close. This has been a solid battle so far. Sadistic King actually getting a little bit loose coming out of that corner. Throat's really dry, my apologies. So Sadistic King out to the lead so far. Been a really solid drive at the moment. I'm sure Sadistic King has something up his sleeve in reference to strategy. He's usually the man to be doing that. He's usually the one who has these kind of oddball strategies that end up paying off for him. So I'm sure he's done the research prior to this race, and he has a solid strategy waiting for us here. Any close battles going on? No, the still closest one is in the top 3, as I'm going to pull up this menu so I can quickly switch back and forth, despite me not knowing how to use it yet. As C. Freeman has picked up a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit exit line, crossing over too soon. So interesting stuff there. Didn't really catch it, unfortunately. But here we have Domingos could possibly be making a move on OG Northerner here very shortly, as they're going to be heading through the DRS section this time by. Domingos only 0.4 of a second back on OG Northerner. Sadistic King has just set the fastest lap. So this is starting to become a 3-car battle here. We got Saffron City in the Williams. Might be facing some pressure from OG within these next couple laps, as Domingos gone really wide. In the middle of turn 1 there, actually. That's a weird place to go that wide. But here he goes now through the DRS section. OG Northerner outside of DRS range at the moment on Saffron City. Here goes Domingos for the overtake as they head into 3, and it's going to be a close one here. Do they make contact? I think they actually may have. And for now, OG has the position. Though, I'm not sure. That looked really close there. But OG Northerner at the moment has the position as they head through 5 and 6. We're going to stay along board for this one here as Ochi goes kind of like pretty wide at the exit of turn 6 there. And now into 7. Don't expect Domingos to be overtaking going through the castle section, but hey, I mean... So now Cake Thomas up in the AlphaTauri as these 3 cars head into turn 15. The 2 AlphaTauris battling each other here for the 2nd spot. Sadistic King has put a 2nd back on 2nd place of Sui. But here's Cake Thomas. Can he be getting the overtake through this 2nd DRS section? As they head down the straight out of turn 20 now. There goes Cake Thomas around the left-hand side, and is he going to get the spot? The answer is yes for now, but it looks like Sui, nope, he's put Sui in the dust there. What an overtake by Cake Thomas, and now he's starting to close that gap on Sadistic King. And as we look back, Domingo's still under pressuring OG Northerner here as they're going to be heading into turn 1. Let's see what happens here. Oh, this might be a close one. Domingos is going to hold off for now. This is where we saw Domingos get really wide last lap, but he's handled that one well. And here he is putting pressure on OG Northerner again. And he's going to get the DRS this time by as well, as we see further up the 2 AlphaTauris battling each other again. But here's Domingos getting the overtake this time by, potentially. Yes, he does, and he's done it well. What a drive from him. Oh, and he gets a little bit of lockup going in towards the apex of turn 3, but he handles it well, and so Domingo's picking up the spot there. Good move from him, and here's Cake Thomas with Sadistic King as they go through the castle section now. This has been probably the closest battle for the top spot so far. Sadistic King really having the straight line speed advantage over these 2 AlphaTauris, but here's Cake Thomas making it interesting. Keeping it relatively close to Sadistic King here, though it is just getting closer and closer to that 1 second cutoff for the DRS, as they're going to be heading through turn 16 right here. Didn't mean to punch my mic there, apologies. So Cake Thomas going to have the DRS this time by. No other really tight battle, although we have Smith Pell possibly making a move on Super Nunes back there in 8th. We're going to check in on that in just a second, but we're going to look and see if Cake Thomas, he's got the DRS this time by, and as they head into 1, oh, this is going to be tight. Is he going to actually make that move? He's got the fastest lap of the race. Is he going to try the move? And no, he doesn't just yet. But we're going to go now on to Smith Pell back in the McLaren as he's going to have the DRS this time by. As who's going into the pits there? I'm just waiting to somebody going into the pits. I'm not really sure who that is. That is OG Northerner, and he has picked up 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Interesting stuff there. Interesting turn of events as Super Nunes and Smith Pell battling for the 7th spot here. Smith Pell having a little bit of a lockup going through that. Going through turn 2. He's going to have the DRS now as we see Cake Thomas back up there battling for first place again. He's within half a second as Super Nunes got really loose coming out of 3. They go through 4 into this little straight here. This is going to be a battle to watch very shortly as Smith Pell has been putting the pressure on Super Nunes for this past lap. Goodness me, I really need a water whilst I commentate this race. But yeah, here's Smith Pell as they're going to be heading through the castle section now. Smith Pell handles that corner a lot better than Super Nunes does. Cuts off the curb almost completely, but does so in a legal manner. Not getting the time penalty as well. Good drive from him so far. He is really putting the pressure on Super Nunes. Super Nunes just looking a little bit slower on corner exits so far. As Smith Pell also might be under pressure from Spoolendub within these next couple laps here as these two head through 15. Oh, he's cut the corner just a little bit there as Super Nunes actually hits the wall on exit of 15 on his rear tire. Nothing to be worried about there as far as damage, but not the cleanest of exits there for Super Nunes, as now they're going to be heading through the DRS section again. Well, this is going to be close as Cake Thomas actually might have a move on the leader Sadistic King as they head through out of turn 1 and into 2. Oh, this is going to be close. Saffron City overtakes Sui as Sui goes into the pits. This is going to be a close one here. Cake Thomas has the DRS. They're heading over into turn 3. Cake Thomas isn't going to try the overtake this time by. He's going to play it patiently so far, but he's gotten that gap within half a second, almost within 1/10 of a second, going through the DRS, going out of turn number 1. So yeah, this is going to be a very close one here within these next couple laps, for sure. As they exit turn 6, down this little straight here and into 7, into the castle section. Probably no overtake going to be happening here, though you never know. But we're going to check back in with these two in just a second, as we got Spool and Dub possibly making a move in that Ferrari as he's pressuring Super Ninas as they head into turn 7 and into the castle section. Spool and Dub has been relatively quiet so far today, only making up 1 position since his initial starting spot. He actually got a little bit loose off the exit of turn 11 there, and Super Ninas has actually pulled away from him just a little bit. Super Ninas having, I mean, a solid race so far. Oh, and Super Ninas has really hit the wall there on the exit of 15. He's lost really the majority of that front right side of his wing. No, just the end plate, but how he hasn't lost more of that front wing is beyond me, as he really looked to have smacked the side of the wall. Oh, and he's going to hit the side of the wall there again on the exit of 18, and now he's under pressure from Spool and Dub, and I'm pretty sure Super Ninas is going to be entering the pits here. We've got a couple cars going into the pits ahead of us. Yep, Super Ninas is going into the pits, so Spool and Dub making up possibly 3 spots here, currently now finding himself up in the 5th, but here's Cake Thomas battling Sadistic King again. No, and Cake Thomas has done a really good job of just keeping this patient so far. As you can see, he wants this overtake very badly on Sadistic King, but right now playing it very safe not to damage his car any as they head through, now going into Sector 2. This really, the majority of Sector 2 is just not a place where you make overtakes. We have a Mercedes off there. That is C. Freeman going around, and oh, and he's hitting the wall. Oh, this is going to be interesting here as we got some of our leaders heading into this section of track. Oh, goodness me, that was a little scary as he was really just laying completely across the track there. I'm not sure, maybe he just lost it at the exit of 12. I'm not entirely sure what caused him to go around there, but C. Freeman not having the day he wants, for sure. As Saffron City back there in the Williams, currently 12 seconds back of the top 2. How that has happened, I'm not entirely sure, as we're just going to look at how much tires are on. Yeah, not a lot of people have pit. Really, just the bottom half of the field, and I say bottom half, I really only mean positions 1 through 6 haven't pit yet, and then Kaz hasn't pit yet. Pretty much everyone else has, though we do have what looks to be a yellow flag over there in Sector 3. Not entirely sure what the deal is with that, but Cake Thomas now finds himself 5 seconds behind Sadistic King. I can't believe I just missed that happening. As what has happened with Cake Thomas? Oh, I can't believe I've just missed that, as C. Freeman now retiring from the section. What has happened with Cake Thomas for him to have lost 5 seconds within 1 corner? And yeah, he's missing quite a bit of his front wing there. That is very, very unfortunate for him, as he was having a really solid race up until that point. But for now, it would appear that the 2 Williams teammates are currently 1st and 2nd, and then Smith Pell back in 3rd, who actually might have an overtake here on Saffron City very shortly. This might actually be a close one to watch here, as these top 5 positions, 1 through 5, have yet to pit. Me personally don't think, I don't think Saffron or Sadistic King is going to be pitting very soon, as he usually has one of those strategies that just doesn't make sense but somehow works, as Adeltonian has picked up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Quite unfortunate for him. Not a lot of penalties to be had so far in the race. I mean, we had some for collisions, but not a lot otherwise. It's actually been a very solidly clean race, at least by Division 2 standards. Actually been pretty exciting so far. We've had a lot of battles for positions, though not a lot of overtakes, but it's kept it very close and interesting, as Smith Pell and Saffron City going to be heading into 15 this time. And Smith Pell has been really trying to take up all of the curb going into 15, and I'm not sure how he hasn't picked up a track limits penalty yet, but he is handling it very well, as Saffron gets actually a little bit wide out of that corner. No other real close battle going on, though we do have Sui and Detail battling it out here for the 5th spot. I'm assuming that Detail's going to be pitting this time by a Sadistic King in the Williams. He's pitting. His teammate Saffron is not. Neither is Smith Pell back in second, as they are in a battle for position here going into turn one. This is going to be really close, and Smith Pell, I believe, having the DRS that time by, gets around the Williams of Saffron City. But here they go into turn number two. Smith Pell getting the lockup on the exit of the corner, finds himself into the wall, and Saffron City has the DRS as well. And the Williams of Saffron City has taken the lead after quite the mishap from Smith Pell there at the exit of turn two, and Space Cowboy has just retired from the session. Has he gone off somewhere? The answer is yes, and we're going to look and see with the leaders as they're going through the castle section here very shortly. Not really sure what's happened with Space Cowboy there. Has he just hit the wall in such a way that he's lost a tire? Because we saw that happen in the qualifying session. We're going to get the answer here, and oh, no, we will not. I'm assuming he's just totaled the car, as he was really in the middle of the castle section here, and yeah, you could see some tire marks on the ground. That is what I'm assuming has happened. It's a very interesting first part of this race so far. So the top three still have yet to pit, and then Detail and the Mercedes is the only other car to have not pit yet. Though I don't think he's going to be that far back when they do pit. He's got quite a gap between him and at least 10th place, quite the gap. So we might actually have enough time to pit and then come out in a solid position around the 10th position here. So, hey, it could actually very well work in his favor, as our top three still have yet to pit. And is Saffron going to do it? No, he's sticking to the hard compound. I don't know if he's just put that on. And no, he actually started on the hard compound. Smith Pell behind him in the medium compound as they head down the straight and into one. Smith Pell on the mediums gets the DRS and the overtake. This is a close battle for the lead here as they head on into turn two. This is going to be a close one, and Smith Pell might actually have the advantage. Oh, when they touch at the exit of turn two, very close there. Smith Pell gets back into the slipstream, and now going into three, is he going to be able to make the overtake? And for right now, the answer is going to be yes. So it's going to be a close one here. Oh, side-by-side racing here. What beautiful stuff. And Saffron City still somehow keeps the lead. Oh, it might be changing again as Smith Pell had the better corner, but for now, it would appear that Saffron has the advantage as they are now heading through 5, 6, and then eventually 7. Very, very close racing here, and we have a safety car. What in God's name has happened to where we have needed a safety car? And the answer is OG Northerner has happened, as he has just completely lost his car somewhere. That's actually on the exit of turn 2. Saffron City, our leader, has actually just picked up 5 seconds for a severe collision with Smith Pell. Oh, and Heavy S, as we ride along, has actually just hit the wall on the exit of the corner. So 3 retirements here. Saffron City has a penalty for a severe collision with Smith Pell, which I believe has come under the safety car, because normally you wouldn't get that penalty unless you're under the safety car, and I'm assuming that's what happened, as he is missing the right end plate on his front wing. So interesting stuff there, as who has yet to pit in this race? Only the top 2, so we're going to be seeing another lead change here. Let's go ahead and look at the tire compounds, though. So we got Smith Pell, well, at least let's look at those who have pit so far. So we've got Sadistic King, who is most likely going to be taking the lead after Saffron pits, which probably next lap, though he might not actually. Smith Pell's pitting because he's on the medium tires and probably needing to pit on the mediums at this point. So the Williams, the 2 Williams, are back on top of the leaderboards. We got the Alpha Tauri of Sui back there in 3rd, who's on 4-lap older hards, but shouldn't be that much of a problem. JC Blackley back there in 4th on 3-lap old hards. Kate Thomas in 5th on 2-lap old hards, and then Smith Pell there, brand new medium, brand new hard tires. So a lot of the field actually choosing the hard compound. I really need a bottle of water whilst I'm commentating these races. I need drink. As I take a momentary look into the Discord, some discussion already out of the Div 3. Vetomania is very upset with Knuckles at the moment, from what it appears to be. So our leader, Saffron City, has the penalty, after making contact with, I believe it was Smith Pell under the safety car, because they did have the collision earlier on, but it wasn't that warranted a penalty really. Though I'm sure the stewards are going to have their own discussion about that one. So yeah, it must have come under the safety car, but because that is an unfortunate turn of events there for Sadistic King, as he is certainly going to need to pit, as well as Spoolendub back there in 13th. He's going to need to pit again soon. He's on 11-lap old medium tires, as we're under this safety car. I mean, what a race we've had so far, and I mean, safety car coming now, 12 laps in instead of the first lap, though we did have the virtual safety car, but still, a solid race it's been so far for these drivers. Not a lot of drama, but all the excitement. So let's see if Saffron City will pit this time by. At the moment, it doesn't appear that he will. Nope, still choosing not to. So he's on, right now, probably the oldest tires in the field. As Kaz has just picked up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Okay. Huh, interesting. Not sure how you could pick up that penalty during the safety car, but it's happened. So the field's still trying to come together under the safety car right now. We've only got a couple stragglers back there, which I assume is the Renault of Best Pons and back. Still looking to get to the safety car. I've just punched my mic again. My apologies. But let me know in the comments, I mean, what you think of this race and what you think of the season so far. But speaking of the season so far, let's actually check the remaining schedule. I believe we're starting to get within halfway through of the season, because I'm going to check on that very shortly. Yeah, so we've actually officially passed the halfway point of the season. Next week is Russia at Sochi, a track that some people don't like nearly as much, but actually a personal favorite of mine, just saying. I'm one of the outside thinkers. Then after that, we go to Zandvoort. Now, Zandvoort is a track that's going to be coming onto the F1 schedule for the first time since, I believe, the mid-'80s. Was supposed to happen this past F1 season, but obviously got postponed due to COVID. It's going to be happening this year, I believe, around October. Could be wrong about that. Not rightly sure, but Zandvoort for us in Div 2 March 4th. Then after that, the week after, we go to Spain, another personal favorite track of mine, on March 11th. Then the week after that, we actually have a break week on the week of the 18th, and then after that, we go to the United States of Circuit of the Americas, a really solid track there. Despite not really being one of my favorites, as I can't ever seem to race on it. After that, we go to Silverstone, then Brazil, probably the fan favorite, and then rounding out the season in Abu Dhabi on April 15th. So we are halfway through the season. What a ride it's been so far, and this is still a very competitive season as far as the standings. So, I mean, yeah, what a solid season it's been so far for this second division of the Midwest F1 League, a division which, by the way, has provided a lot of talent that is finding themselves up into Division 1. So yeah, I mean, great stuff there. As surely the safety car is going to be in this lap once they go through Sector 3. So once we get onto this start here, we're going to be riding along with Sadistic King as he has the newest tires out of this top 3, and we're going to see how hard he tries to get around his teammate of Saffron City. Whew, that's going to be a battle to watch. But further back, we got Smith Pell on... He's currently back in 6th, though. He's on 1 lap old hard tires. So, I mean, hey, he could actually be a favorite to make up some spots here after the safety car. As we have just passed the halfway point of the race. 13 out of 26 laps completed. So a solid race that it's been so far. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you've thought of this season, and let me know what track you are most excited for. As personally for me, I'm really excited to see Zandvoort. I think just not a lot of people have seen action on that track. I know we saw in the Friday series a couple weeks ago, in which I did not do so well on. I believe I actually DNF'd that race. So not a good track, not a favorite track of mine, though. I love the idea of the high banks, and it's actually a very narrow track as well, so we're going to actually be able to see that track very shortly. One I've been highly anticipating, especially in F1, and one that I'm going to be highly anticipating for this series as well, here in the Midwest F1 League. As the safety car heads through Sector 3, or heads into Sector 3 now. Is it going to be in this time by? We're going to get the answer here very shortly, and the answer is yes, safety car in this lap. So Saffron City and his teammate Sadistic King going to be in a battle for the lead. So Saffron City has the penalty, which I believe he can serve in the pits, as it's not a corner cutting or track limit penalty, so I believe he can serve that. But here's Sadistic King, and we're going to have Sui right there as well. Let's actually watch along with Sui as they head into turn 1. This might actually be one to watch here, as the safety car is going to be heading into the pits now. Oh, here we go. Now this is interesting because the leader, Saffron City, has that sort of limiter until the safety car really enters the pit lane and into the when they get into the green flag. But it's going to be an interesting one here, as I believe now they're getting the thing here. Ter's got a 5-second penalty for ignoring the yellow flag, but here they go into 1. It looks like Saffron City has kept the position so far, though his teammate Sadistic King is right there. Saffron City's gone really wide in that corner, almost taking the outside wall, as well as JC has found himself up into 4th. The 2 leaders touching. Sui just slides off to the side of the track as the 2 leaders of Saffron City and Sadistic King make contact there, nearly take each other out in the process, and now the Red Bull of JC Blackley has found himself up into 3rd as they head through turn 3 now. A very good start here so far for JC Blackley, making up the position. Sui having arguably the worst start as he falls back a couple of positions. His teammate Kate Thomas finds himself up into 4th. As we get a yellow flag back in Sector 1. I believe that's towards the further end of the field. Looks like the Haas of Kaz has done something there to create a problem. Saffron City now starting to put a little bit of a gap on his teammate Sadistic King. JC Blackley there, sitting in 3rd, but here's Sui. We're going to ride along. Oh, when they make contact, and Sui has lost the right side of his front wing, surely, as he is completely slammed into the back of JC Blackley there. As I wish there was actually a good camera angle to see if they had the damage or not. As we look this time by, well, someone has lost a front wing there, and I'm not rightly sure who. No, he's only really lost the end plate on the right-hand side. I figured it would be a lot more than that after that collision, but here's Sadistic King. As they go out of turn 16 and then into 17, 18, 19, and then eventually 20. Sadistic King, I believe we're going to have the DRS next time by, but right now Sadistic King certainly has the straight line speed over Saffron, as they now head down the straight and back into 1. We could be looking at an overtake here as Kate Thomas goes around JC Blackley for 3rd place. And yes, here we go. And I believe Sadistic King's actually been kind of forced to the inside there, as Kate Thomas and JC now battling for position as well. Here's JC to the inside, possibly. Nope, he's not going to get it this time, guys. We got actually Best Ponza just retired from the session. Who's gone off over there? Something has happened. Best Ponza's off the track. Over on the exit of 19. I'm not rightly sure what's happened there, as we have a lot of cars going into the pits, and by a lot I mean only 4, but still considerable amounts. As we have the 2 Williams of Saffron City and Sadistic King still trying to battle for this lead. Saffron is surely going to have to make a stop here within these next couple laps, but here's Kate Thomas in the Alpha Tauri, still just trying to make up some ground on 2nd place here, but he's got JC right behind him as now they head through the castle section. Very close battle here as the 2 Williams head through turn 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. Saffron City getting wide at the exit at 12. He's now starting to put a little bit of gap on his teammate, Sadistic King, as we've had 5 retirements on the day so far. Not the worst we've seen by any means as they head through turn 15. What a shot this is. How is that helicopter somehow flying in between those buildings and not hitting them is my question. But here's Sadistic King. Now he's surely going to get the overtake this time by as Saffron has a lot of damage. Well, by a lot, I mean he's only missing the end plate, but he still has damage on the right-hand side of the front wing of his Williams. And is he going to go into the pits? Well, we're not sure, but here's Sadistic King. He's surely going to get the DRS this time by, and around him he goes without the DRS even, and now they head into the DRS zone. Nope, it's going to be enabled this lap. I may have lied to you, actually. Sadistic King gets the overtake anyways. What a move from him. But there's Saffron City, his teammate. It's going to be still closely contested as they head through this DRS section. Another overtake there. JC overtaking Sui as they go into turn number 3. JC's going to get the DRS on Sui anyways, as now they head down the straight. Some defensive driving being shown here from JC Blackley. Here's Sui now. Finding himself back into 5th. Cake Thomas actually might be putting the work on Saffron very shortly, as Saffron still has the damage and the older tires. I mean, we could be seeing another overtake here very shortly. Then we have JC, who's probably going to have to be doing some defensive driving on Sui very shortly. Smith Pell right behind him. I believe Smith Pell, how he didn't pick up a penalty for that corner is beyond me, as I just saw that. And it looked like he was completely on the inside of the curb as we got a yellow flag in the castle section. Big incident here. Goodness me, it looks like Crash Bash again. Virtual safety car is out. So we had Domingos involved. Smith Pell, I believe, involved. No, he actually may have gotten away with it. Domingos certainly involved. Adeltonian in the Alfa Romeo involved. I believe Domingos does not have much of a front wing left after that. As we're going to watch that here very shortly. Yeah, he is completely missing that front wing. Lots and lots of carnage in the castle section that time by. Pretty sure at least 3 or 4 cars had a little bit of involvement in that. As we go along with Super Nunes, yep, he's missing. Domingos is missing some front wing, as we've seen. Adeltonian, is he missing any? Can't really tell. I think he might be missing the end plate on the right-hand side of his car. But from there on back, we're not missing any. I mean, we got the Mercedes of Detail who's missing a little bit. Sadistic King has taken the lead as his teammate Saffron City has entered the pits. And yeah, he is serving his penalty. Domingos in the McLaren getting 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. Goodness me, not what he wanted, but a couple cars entering the pits here. Whew. What drama going through the castle section. We were having a good day as well. That was a relatively clean part of the circuit, aside from Space Cowboy, who had the incident in qualifying. But I mean, there wasn't really much drama to be had at all going through there most of the day, and I'm not sure how that's been caused, because unfortunately I joined along with it a little too late. But goodness me, that was quite the mishap there. As here's Smith Pell in the McLaren. We're going to ride along with him, as he could possibly be making a move on Sui here very shortly, as Heavy S in the Racing Point has just left the session. So we are now... Oh, well, no, he was gone anyways, wasn't he? So Carnage going through the castle section on lap 17. Smith Pell going over the curb again. That's actually probably hurting his time a little bit, because he was doing really well and then took up way more curb than Sui, and he's actually fallen just a little bit back now. Though he's probably going to have the DRS this time by, as we have Saffron City in the Williams. Might be making the move on Monkey Mafia. Monkey's had himself a relatively quiet day, though he has made up 8 spots since the initial start. What a drive it's been from him, from Monkey Mafia. Though we haven't heard much about him so far, as he's going to be under pressure from Saffron right now, as we see Sui up in 4th, might be making a move on JC within these coming, within the next DRS zone. Might have to ride along with that, as we have a 3-car battle here between JC, Sui, and then Smith Pell. Smith Pell a little bit farther back, but still there. As Monkey Mafia actually sets the fastest lap of the race so far, as he's got Saffron to his inside, almost making contact, but nothing yet, as they now head up the little straight there and then into turn 2, and then into the DRX section again, and Saffron's actually made contact with the right-hand wall, as Spool and Dub just set the fastest lap in the Ferrari. But here we go. into turn 3. Nope, Saffron's going to take it easy for now, but here we have Sui and Smith Pell and JC, third, fourth, and fifth through the castle section. I mean, this is going to be a race to watch here amongst these three. They're very closely contested pretty much this whole race as well, so good stuff to be seen here. As we're going to be entering on 6 laps to go very shortly. Cake Thomas, no, it's JC I'm along with. Goodness me, I'm losing my marbles, but Cake Thomas having a solid day so far, up into second. Oh, JC's gone really wide at the exit of 16 there. How he hasn't received a penalty for that. But here's Sui now. He's going to have the DRS this time by, recognizing the mistake from JC as they head down the straight out of turn 20. Down the straight they go. Sui's definitely got the advantage here, and Sui's going to get the overtake, I think, going into the DRS zone, actually, and then getting the DRS anyways. Here's Smith Pell back on JC Blackley. He might be actually making a move very shortly as well. Now, this is going to be interesting to watch because these couple cars here have been pretty much battling each other a lot of the time. No, when Smith Pell gets really wide at the... he gets really loose on the exit of 2 and loses all of the progress he had going for him. Quite unfortunate for him, as we might be able to see Detail makes up some time there. He's actually had himself a solid day so far, making up 8 spots since his initial start. But so the closest battle we have now, Sui and JC for third. But we also have Monkey Mafia and Saffron. I believe Saffron has just overtaken Monkey Mafia very recently for that position as well, as we only have 6 to go here. So a good race so far for pretty much everyone in the top 10, making up spots except for Saffron City, who finds himself 4 spots back from his original start, and then Sui just losing 1 spot since his initial start, though a podium still. Oh, and who's that in front of? JC's just completely lost it there in the castle section. What has happened to him? I was watching along with Smith Pell, and all of a sudden seeing JC shoot across the track for some reason. I'm not entirely sure what, but Smith Pell surely going to have the overtake this time by. That was really interesting to see as, oh, Super Ninas has just DNF'd over in turn 2. What has happened there? Beyond me, but here's Smith Pell probably going to be getting the overtake on JC this time by, and is he going to block off the pit lane from JC? Is JC going to be able to go into the pits? And he won't. And JC is missing a lot of his front wing as well. JC surely going to be losing even more time there. Quite unfortunate from him, and I'm sure he's not even going to have the DRS this time by. There is Super Ninas there in the corner. Whew. Goodness me, he has lost it in probably the worst part of the track you could lose it in. Just over in turn 2, and he's found himself really at the exit of the corner, and that could actually prove to be kind of dangerous. So he's not there anymore, but if you were Saffron City right there, and he was, and Super Ninas was still sitting there across the track, that would have been dangerous. Well, here's Monkey Mafia again, possibly making the move on Saffron at some point. Starting to fall back just a little bit. Got 5 to go now. But so far, Sadistic King in the Williams up in first. What a day he's had so far. Finds himself up into first. And the 2 Alpha Tauris, how chuffed would they be to find themselves both on the podium? That would be quite the result for Alpha Tauri as well, as they currently sit 5th in the constructor standings, a little bit further back of the top 3 of Williams, Ferrari, and McLaren, but surely could be getting the overtake on the Red Bull team, probably getting it. And then I'm not too sure. I mean, McLaren hasn't had the best day so far, though Smith Pell actually has had a great day, finding himself in 4th currently. But I think the problem with McLaren right now, they just need to find some consistency between the 2 drivers. I mean, Domingos has bags of speed. It's just sometimes he gets really unlucky and finds himself in these positions. Currently sitting 12th. I mean, he's lost 7 spots since the start of this race, and the McLaren team has qualified really well for this race. That's just super unfortunate for them as well, as Saffron City, I believe, just made his move around JC, and JC surely is going to be entering the pits this time, and yeah, I think he will be. Rightfully so. That car is well off the pace after that incident. How it happened, I'm not entirely sure, but happen it did. as we have 4 laps to go now. Let's ride along with the two AlphaTauris of Cake Thomas and Sui. I mean, they're not really pressuring each other too much. They've got quite a gap in between them, but nothing compared to that of Sadistic King, who has had a really solid day so far. Started on pole. Probably gonna, well, I'm not gonna say probably, he might finish first here. What a day he's had so far. I mean, honestly, what a drive he's had. And the Williams team in general has been really solid lately. I know Saffron finds himself back in 6th, losing 3 spots since his initial start, but I mean, still, that's a solid result for the Williams team. As the Ferrari team of Monkey Mafia and Spoolendub going to suffer even more this week. So surely that gap at the top of the standings will be even further, but let's actually ride along with Detail here in the Mercedes. He's had himself a solid weekend here, picking up 9 spots since the start. What a result that would be for the Mercedes team, surely overtaking the Racing Point garage and possibly, well, Haas is a bit further off than that, but I mean, what a result this would be for him. Putting Mercedes in striking distance of pretty much the rest of the top 5. Or, I mean, by top 5, I mean positions 8 through 6. I didn't mean to say top 5, but yeah, they're certainly going to be putting themselves in even more contention to make up some spots in the constructor standings here very shortly. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's been a really solid race. But speaking of Detail, here's Saffron City, could be possibly challenging him for this 5th position here very shortly as they exit the corner. Saffron probably going to have the DRS this time by, he's on the softs as well, getting past Detail. Good move from him, and Saffron finds himself yet again into the top 5. Oh, and what has happened with Saffron? Has he hit the wall? What has happened with him? I was just watching him as he exited, as he was going on exit of turn 3 and into 4, he hit the left side wall for some reason, and he is missing the end plate of his car. What has happened there with Saffron City? Honestly, that was the most random incident he could have had, and now he's lost part of his front wing, and he's probably going to be under pressure here again from Detail very shortly as they head through 11 and then 12. So yeah, interesting stuff there as Saffron's still faster somehow straight line than Detail, but as they head through the rest of Sector 2 and then into 3, surely Detail's going to find himself within that second. But speaking of within a second, here is the two AlphaTauris possibly battling it out for second place. Cake Thomas there in second, has had the better day of the two AlphaTauris so far, but here's Sui, his teammate behind him, possibly going to be putting on pressure. I mean, what a day this would be for the AlphaTauri team, even with this second and third place position. I mean, that would be really, really good for the constructor standing, surely overtaking Red Bull and then really closing in that gap on McLaren, despite Smith Pell having a solid 4th place showing today so far. As I believe Saffron and Detail also having a little bit of a battle here for this 5th position. Well, Saffron's gone to his AI. What has happened here? Oh, no, he hasn't. Or has he? Okay, interesting. Spool and Dub has just set the fastest lap in the Ferrari. Saffron's going to have to do some great defensive driving on Detail if he wants to keep that spot, especially with part of his front wing missing, as Sui did not get a good exit of turn 11 there. As he's now lost a bit of ground to Cake Thomas. So we're going to ride along with these two just for now, as we're going to be entering 2 laps to go here very shortly once Sadistic King crosses the line this time by. But really solid race it's been so far, as we've got Domingos back there. Well, he was making up some time. He could have hit a wall or something, because now he is starting to draw back of Domingos. What has happened there? Oh, that's a great shot. I love that. I actually didn't even know it was that close together, those 2 straights. That's actually really sick. I mean, it looks close, obviously, on the mini-map, but I didn't realize that you could look down both straights from that camera angle. That was really cool. Righto, anyways, here's Sui with 2 laps to go now. Now, is he going to legitimately try to overtake his teammate here, Cake Thomas? Swee's going to have a podium here, probably. He's got about 2 seconds back on Smith Pell currently, as Monkey Mafia and Saffron City. Here's Monkey Mafia around the outside. Oh, contact, and Monkey Mafia's gone around. He's cut off Detail as well. Detail somehow made his way through, as Monkey Mafia says hi to some of the spectators there at the exit of pit road. But goodness me, what has happened there? I mean, Monkey Mafia just went around. I don't know if he made contact with Saffron City or not. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what has happened that caused Monkey Mafia to go around that violently. But, I mean, it happened. That's all I know. As, so Sui has now lost a little bit of ground. Smith Pell is actually now gaining very closely, as we could have a sick battle here for the third and possibly even second spot here, with Smith Pell wanting into the mix in the very late stages of this race. Smith Pell choosing to go the completely over the rumble strips again into the corner. I mean, I'm not sure why he keeps taking that line. I don't know if he realizes how much slower that's making him go through that corner in particular. I mean, it probably looks good on the timesheet, but I mean, if you'll notice, Sui and Cake Thomas are like only touching the side of the curb with their tires, and they're having much better lap times. Not really sure. But all of the top three having the DRS this time by, except for obviously Sadistic King, who's out to really good lead. But here's Sui back in third. Could he possibly be making the move on his teammate Cake Thomas here shortly, as we now have a 3-car battle essentially for that second spot, with Sui and Smith Pell getting the DRS this time by. Let's go along with Smith Pell as they head down the straight and into 3. Oh, it's going to be a close one. Oh, and Smith Pell wanted that position so bad, but he braked really, really late, nearly got into the back of Sui, and did a good job of avoiding the collision there. You got to give it to Smith Pell for not making that position not making the collision, because, man, he wanted that overtake as well and did a good job of keeping it clean. But here's Sui now looking to try to get around his teammate of Cake Thomas as they head into 7 and then possibly into the castle section. He's putting on a lot of pressure. This in particular is going to come right down to the wire, as now they head through the castle section, up the hill through 8, 9, 10, 11, and then now going through 12. This is going to be a close one. Let's see if Sui uses his overtake button, as Smith Pell has just picked up a time penalty for multiple warnings. I assume was going over the curb in turn 12. Goodness me, that is not what he needed. As the two Alpha Tauris make their way out of turn 15, Sadistic King over in first as he heads through 18, 19, and then eventually 20. Oh, this race is getting very dicey here. But here comes Sadistic King, the Scotsman himself, out of turn 20, and then eventually into the DRS zone. He's had nothing to do today. Might as well give him the paper to read, because he has absolutely dominated. A back-to-back win showing for Sadistic King as he wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for the Williams team, putting an even further gap at the top of the constructor standings. And then Cake Thomas and his teammate Sui finishing second and third. What a result for the AlphaTauri garage that's been. Smith Pell taking fourth. Detail in the Mercedes, a great result for him and Mercedes in general. I mean, they needed these points. He's probably going to be coming home in fifth. What a drive from Detail, making up 9 spots since the initial start. What a drive. Saffron City, the secondary Williams, back there in sixth. A solid day for him despite losing out 3 spots and taking a couple collisions against walls in that race, finishing 6th. Monkey Mafia 2nd. K-Dog K in 8th in the Racing Point. I believe that's one of her better results of the season, possibly the best all season. 8th place. What a drive from her, making up 5 spots since the initial start. 8 Altoni in 9th. Spool and Dub in 10th. Domingos in 11th. JC probably coming home in 12th, followed by Tear the Tear in 13th, and then Kaz in 14th. How is Kaz finished before Tear the Tear? That is interesting. But what a drive it was for Sadistic King and the AlphaTauri team. First for Sadistic King, second for Cake Thomas, and then third for Sui. Detail getting driver of the day, and rightfully so. What a drive he's had. Certainly going to help out the Mercedes garage, but here they go onto the podium as Sadistic King getting another win this season. Surrounded by the two AlphaTauri drivers. What a day it's been all around for these top three. Goodness me, I have no complaints with this top three right here. It's some of the most talented drivers in the field. And it was about time that Cake Thomas and Sui had their day, especially. I mean, they've been looking to crack onto that podium for the longest time now, and they have finally done it. And we will be getting an interview with them shortly. But let's go through the final results here. Sadistic King in first, Cake Thomas second, Sui in third, Smith Pell fourth, Detail in fifth, Saffron City in sixth, Monkey Mafia at seventh, K-Dog K in eighth, ninth is Adaltonian, 10th is Spool and Dub, 11th is Domingos, 12th is JC Blackley, 13th is Terra the Terror, 14th is Kaz, 15th is Super Ninas, 16th is Heavy Ass, 17th is Best Pawns, 18th is OJ Northerner, 19th is Space Cowboy, and then 20th, rounding out the field is C. Freeman, and let's get into those drivers. All right, Sweet, are you there, my man?
Yeah, yes. Hello.
There you are. Hello. I mean, what a drive it's been for you today, and finally getting onto that, finally getting onto the podium. I mean, what's been the difference maker today for you, and for your team? Pretty much. I mean, this has been a really solid result for them. But how have you, strategized this race? How have you managed to get onto the podium today?
Um, Honestly, I just wanted to kind of play it safe, especially with this track being as dangerous as it is through some corners.
Mhm.
I definitely wanted to try to have some consistency and try to keep it clean. My mindset was pretty much just try to push as hard as I can, and then towards the end try to save up. Unfortunately, I had to start pushing towards the end because I saw Smith. He had ERS saved up, so definitely had me sweating for a little bit, but luckily was able to pull it off.
Yeah, I tell you what, and I've been watching you for some time now. Every week I'm looking at you and I'm saying this man is going to get onto the podium very, very soon, and it finally happened today. I mean, um, going into these next couple tracks here, we've got Russia up next, then Zandvoort, and then I believe after that, if I just look at the schedule here shortly, yes, we got Russia up next, then Zandvoort, then Spain. Can you see yourself having another solid run of form going into these next three races before the break week?
Um, I'm feeling confident. Yes, I do believe I'll be able to be up there, at least in top five. Um, Hopefully I can just keep it consistent.
Absolutely, man. I mean, what a drive you've had today. Good stuff from you, and good luck to you next week when we head to Russia.
Thank you, I appreciate it, and great job
Abs-
to Sadistic and my teammate as well. Great round, guys.
Absolutely. Now, Cake Thomas, you here?
Yep.
All right, good stuff. I mean, another solid result for you here today. I mean, you've slowly been working your way up as one of the more up-and-coming drivers in this division, who you and Sadistic in particular, I think, are going to be making the move to Div 1 here very shortly. I mean, what was the key to success for you today? And then overall, these past couple weeks, is you've had a solid run of results here. So what's been the secret for you?
Just trying to get off to a good start, and trying to stay out of trouble. Last week I failed to do that and ended up getting P11, but this week I felt like I bounced back pretty well. Other than I don't know if you saw, but I binned it on the lap right before I pitted, and I had to get a new wing, so that completely messed up my strategy there. But otherwise, it was a pretty decent night.
Yeah, I tell you what, I mean, there was a lot of other drivers who had to get that front wing, so didn't hurt you as much, but I tell you what, so we had the rain qualifying session, and then going into the dry weather. I mean, how did that change your perception of the race at all? Because I mean, did you stick with the same setup in the qualifying session as you normally would have? I mean, what was your thinking with that?
Yeah, I just stayed with the normal strategy just because I saw that it was going to be a dry race, so I figured it would just be, just the rain for quali. So I just had to make do with what it was, and it wasn't too bad. It was track dried up pretty good near the end. We were able to get in some good laps.
Absolutely, and then finally, same question to you again: Russia, Zandvoort, and then Spain. And you guys, AlphaTauri Garage in particular, have had a really good run of form. Certainly, I mean, probably going to be overtaking Red Bull in the constructor standings, and then ever so slightly closing in on the top three of McLaren, Williams, and Ferrari. I mean, how do you think these next couple weeks are going to go for you?
They should go good as long as me and Sue could get out of the gate strong. They're tracks that suit us well, so I think we should be able to. Like I said, if we could manage to stay clean in the beginning, we should be able to get top fives and some podiums, and maybe even a win. Who knows?
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for joining me, and another solid result for you. Um, and yeah, hope to hear you here again next week as we go to Russia. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then Sadistic King on to you. Another solid race. I mean, how many wins is this for you on the year now? It's at least 4, isn't it? It's been a
Um,
quite a
I
solid
think it's my
season.
third. Yeah,
Been
it's
a
my third.
well, I mean, what a solid season it's been for you so far. So I just wanted to ask because this, as you said, marks your 4th win. I mean, I assume you probably going to be going up to Div 1 very shortly, probably within these next couple weeks. I mean, how does that feel for you? I mean, how does that change up your perspective on the season? Do you keep I mean, are you going to keep the same mentality going into Div 1, knowing that you're going to be in a more competitive landscape, very, I mean, more even? How is it going to change?
Um, Not sure to be honest. I don't really have different strategies. I don't really see the Division 2 changing till the end of the season, so I think it's got to be all of us drivers to the end of the season now, as Tier 1 seems to have its like rock solid group, so and so does
Absolutely.
Division 2, so but
Yeah.
you never know what happens, so
Yeah, and I mean, what a solid couple weeks it's been for you. I mean, you keep finding this stream of consistency. I mean, there was like the 1 week in between earlier on in the season, a couple weeks ago, where it was just kind of, I'm not really sure. I can't remember what race it was. So you had the win um, in Canada on the 7th, and you had
yeah.
France, Austria, which were taken by Jenna and JC in particular. Um,
Yeah, I had a really bad France race.
Yeah, I mean
I
that
don't
French
like
race that was
France.
tough for a lot of people, but yeah. So
Yeah.
you and the Williams in particular, and your teammate there, have been really finding another stream of consistency. So same question to you again. I mean, a couple tough tracks coming up in Russia and Zandvoort, in particular. I mean, is your confidence into that going to be changing? Do you think you can keep up this results?
Um, I mean, the street circuits are my stronger circuits, so I'm kind of looking forward to Russia. Zandvoort is just, I don't know what to say about that track. It's a fun track to race on, but it's really hard to overtake, so I think position's got to be key. And I do not like Spain, so I think I'll just be sick that week and not turn up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not a lot of people like Spain, but I mean, me personally, as you said, Zandvoort's going to be probably a mess. Honestly, very hard to overtake at that track. But I mean,
It is very hard.
what another solid result for you, man. Thank you for joining me, and hopefully we hear you in here again next week as we head to Russia. But thank you so much for joining me, and thank you everyone else for joining me. What a race it's been! Very action-packed. Another solid race weekend here in Div 2. For Hotspot and Blinn, who didn't join me tonight, but will probably be joining me again next week. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.